Want me to tell you something that'll blow your mind? Up to now, archaeologists have found more dog graves than those of any other animal on Earth. That's right, in the past, not cats, not horses, not even sacred birds. In ancient Egypt, none of them even came close to the status of dogs. And that means there was something really special between us and dogs. Something beyond just a pet. Stick with me and let's travel together deep into the past, to a time when humans still lived in caves. Fire was just starting to mean something to them, and a four-legged creature was slowly finding its way into the human heart. The Stone Age dog. I promise this video will reveal a secret that will make you see your own dog in a whole new way. If you want to imagine the journey of our friendship with dogs, I'll tell you how this path slowly took shape. From the very first wolves that bravely came humans, to the loyal dogs that were kept with love, care, and even buried alongside people as cherished companions. In fact, the earliest known evidence of dog domestication and their symbolic burial actually dates back to about 33,000 years ago in some places, such as the Altai caves located in southern Siberia, the Bonn Oberkassel cave in Europe, and certain specific areas of Germany and Belgium. Although more widespread burials and a clearer emotional and social relationship between dogs and humans came later. This happened about 12 to 14,000 years ago, which roughly corresponds to the late Paleolithic to Mesolithic periods. At that time, there were still no villages, animal husbandry, or agriculture. Most people lived as hunters and nomads, spending most of their lives chasing after food. During this same era, archaeologists in Germany, near a city called Bonn Oberkassel, discovered a grave with three individuals: a man, a woman, and a puppy, a 6-month-old puppy that had been sick and survived for several weeks with care. This means those ancient people nursed it back to health and then buried it in their family cemetery. Let's go over that again. 14,000 years ago, someone cared for a sick dog and buried it like a loved one. So even back then, a dog wasn't just an animal. It was a companion, a friend, and even a fellow traveler through life and death with humans. In short, that's how the relationship between humans and dogs gradually turned into something that has lasted for thousands of years. From hunting and companionship to symbolic burials and true love. It's quite interesting to know that the very first domesticated dogs actually split off from the ancient gray wolf breed. DNA evidence shows that this important separation most likely happened at the very end of the Paleolithic era. But the most interesting thing is, scientists still actively debate where exactly this event actually happened, and the precise location remains uncertain. Some say East Asia, probably around China or Mongolia. Others say Eastern Europe. And a third group asks, why just one place? Maybe in several spots at the same time. Humans and wolves came together and this friendship began. So it's possible that several groups of humans in different corners of the world, without ever seeing each other, at the same time, they decided to feed a wolf. And that wolf stayed so close to humans that it eventually became a dog. So it's like nature itself decided to throw us into a shared story. Now let's move on to a special discovery in Siberia, near Russia's Lake Baikal. A team from the University of Alberta in Canada was there. They found dozens of graves. And the strange thing was that most of the buried animals were dogs. These dogs, just like humans, some were buried with collars, some with spoons, and some with decorative items. So even back then, they had ceremonies, showed respect, and expressed love. Another interesting thing is that some of the dogs were buried in a specific body position, just like humans they were. That is, lying on their side or with their faces toward the east. It's as if it had a meaning for them, a kind of spiritual value, a belief that dogs have souls like humans and maybe even stay with people after death. Of course, some people believe that burying dogs next to humans was mostly practical, because dogs played a vital role in hunting or protection. Some also say that burying dogs was both emotional and ritualistic. This means it was a mix of love, respect, and religious beliefs. By the way, I should also mention that in the northern regions of Siberia, an archaeological site has been discovered that is the largest collection of buried polar dogs. There are more than 100 dogs in one place. They also found traces of rope and wood there, which shows that the dogs used to pull sleds, so they weren't just companions to humans, but also travel partners and were crucial for their survival and continuity. Alongside that, there's also evidence of reindeer domestication. So it was a multi-species community. Humans, dogs, and reindeer, all living together side by side. A true coexistence between species. You should know that archaeology these days isn't just about digging with a shovel anymore. About 90% of the work is done in the lab. Scientists take samples from the bones of ancient dogs, and by analyzing the isotopes and chemicals inside, they figure out what they ate, where they lived, and who they traveled with. For example, in the Baikal region, they discovered that when people's diets were mostly fish and aquatic foods, their dogs ate the same things. This means they hunted together as a group, ate together, and essentially lived side by side, in close proximity, or even died together. Paleolithic, Mesolithic, Neolithic. These are three whole eras of human and animal evolution side by side. The first era goes all the way back to the Paleolithic, the time of the cave dwellers. Back then, people still didn't know what farming was or how to domesticate animals. Their lives were full of cold, fear, and hunger. But in that same darkness, filled with terror, something new sparked. A tired wolf and a tired human. They decided not to kill each other. Gradually, a mutual understanding formed between them. The wolf realized that being near humans meant finding food, and humans realized that the presence of the wolf brought them safety. That was the moment friendship began, the first step in a story thousands of years old. The second chapter begins. It goes to the Mesolithic era, somewhere between hunting and farming, when that wild wolf had changed into a familiar creature, something between an animal and a friend. It was during this period that the first official dog burials took place. People would bury their dogs like loved ones, with decorations, personal belongings, even food. They weren't just companions anymore. They had become part of the family. By then, love and respect between these two different species had truly formed. It was an emotional, even spiritual relationship. And now the third chapter, the Neolithic era. When humans gradually started farming and building villages, that's when the role of dogs completely changed. They were no longer just travel companions. They had no meaning without each other. If I want to sum it up, in the Paleolithic era, humans found wolves. In the Mesolithic era, that wolf turned into a dog, and in the Neolithic era, that dog became part of the family. Now, let me ask a tough question. Why did early humans choose to befriend a wild animal? The answer is not just about hunting or safety. Part of the explanation goes back to loneliness. Those early hunter-gatherers lived in a very dangerous and unpredictable natural world. Wolves were the only animals that had social behavior similar to humans. They hunted in groups, made eye contact, and were loyal. When humans saw this, they felt like they'd found a mirror, a kindred spirit. That's when these two completely different species gradually started to become more alike. Genetic research shows that even human faces have adapted to dogs over thousands of years. It means our brains have learned how to look into a dog's eyes and feel calm. So our relationship isn't just emotional, it's biological too. But this story carries a big message. We humans quickly learned that love, loyalty, and cooperation can be incredibly powerful. It is often stronger than force and dominance. Dogs became an important part of our lives not through fighting, but through their enduring friendship. In other words, when people treated a sick dog in the Stone Age and buried it beside themselves, it means they, like us, had a sense of empathy. And now, after thousands of years, that feeling is still alive in us. When we spend time with our beloved dogs, we're continuing a remarkable 15,000-year-old history of companionship. Personally, I truly believe that dogs aren't just ordinary animals. They were, in fact, our very first and most important teachers in the art of friendship. The first living being who ever taught humans that real love means presence, not possession. When I look at my own beloved dog, I feel as though I'm talking to a living, breathing piece of history itself. A remnant of a friendship that began back in the Paleolithic era. Now is your turn. Tell us, why do you think dogs are so deeply cherished? Do you think we still respect them the way we used to? From thousands of years ago until today, dogs have stayed by our side. They've been with us on hunts, on journeys, and in life itself, even. The Paleolithic dog wasn't just an animal. It was the first true friendship in human history, and maybe that's why even now, when a dog looks into your eyes, something truly deep inside you lights up within you. That look carries thousands of years of history. So next time your dog comes to sit by you, don't just tell it to sit. Sit beside it, because it's a piece of the past that's still by your side.